And the only thing that I've seen come close to aloe as far as a healing ability and taking away pain and something is this poor thing that did not make it through the cold the last couple of nights. This under better conditions really looks like a plant. And I'm sorry you can't see the leaves on this thing, but it's a weed that a friend of mine brought in South America about 10 years ago. Now it's a ubiquitous weed everywhere. All nurseries have it. It seems to be a nursery weed, but if you buy from a nursery that has it like me, I'm sure you will get it, especially if you're not careful. I wish I could see the leaves on it, but I didn't realize till today that this couldn't take temperatures down to 32. Anyway, if you take the leaf of this, and these are too dry to really do it, but I'm going to try the tip. And he gave me this plant in a 4-inch pot. And he started telling me what it was good for. And if you're in this business and you go to some place where people congregate that like plants, somebody's going to come up and tap you on the shoulder and say, David, I got a question. In fact, I thought that was the way I had to be greeted for a while, you know. Well, with him and his knowledge, he gets the same problem. So the two of us are standing there. It was down in the park in Miami, the Fruit and Spice Park. We're having a big function down there. And he got tapped about the same time he was going to tell me what this does. And I couldn't even ask him what was going on further than that because I got tapped at the same time. And about a year later, so I got this stuff growing in my yard. It's about this high. It's got 80 million of them in the yard. Every seed comes up, guaranteed. And it's really a weed. It is absolutely a weed. And it's on your list as, mine was blank. Let's get it back up on the sheet. Sorry I did it that way. Florida-friendly nettle. It's a Laportia. Now, I try to keep this thing out. I'm not that big a taxonomist, but not bad. And I could not come up with a name for this. I could get to Laportia, fine, but all the Laportias are stinging nettles. This one does not sting. And so I called Crafton, and he didn't know anymore. He couldn't get any further with it than that. So I got to be with Derek Birch, who Charlie knows, and Derek and I spent about an hour with him with books and the net, and me with books. And we finally decided it absolutely has to be a Laportia estivans. But all those are stinging hairs, so we called it variety Floridana. And we hung our hat on that and let it go. Because it is different, and it does not have stinging hairs. Well, anyway, if you take this stuff, what happens, I got a terrible cut while I was working. And I looked around, and all I see is this thing. I didn't have an aloe nearby. So I grabbed this, I said, this had to be good for something. Crafter wouldn't have given it to me, it had to be good for something. So I said, let's see if it mushes, and I did this, and it's mucilaginous. When it's not fried, it's mucilaginous. And so I rubbed it on the cut, and I'm walking back to the truck to get a Band-Aid and whatever else I needed because I didn't know what this was really going to do. And I get about halfway to the truck, and I realized the cut doesn't hurt anymore. And by the time I get to the truck, the bleeding stopped. Coagulated. I found over the next 4 or 5 days that it works as far as healing goes as fast as aloe. I teach this thing to people in nurseries. Even if they don't speak English, I show them how to use it. The next time I come in, they're waving them at me in the air because it works. And I'm sorry it's in such horrible shape, but I'm sure that give it a couple weeks to warm up, and someone that came up from seed would be back again. But boy, this cold really worked. It really knocked him out. I had 32 degrees twice in the past, since the month started. And the wind factor, I think, was another one that really got him. Yeah. So, and I don't do any protecting things because I bring a lot of new things in, and how am I going to know if they take 32 unless I give them 32? So we stop them and we let things go and see what lived through it, and I take some notes. So this thing's a very interesting plant. It has a very slimy juice, and let me tell you, there's very little as disconcerting as taking the juice of this thing, which is green and gooey, and rubbing it on fresh blood. That's a color combination you will not forget easily, but it really does work. It's incredible. Laportia.